All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Today I have the absolute pleasure to be with one of the best real estate brokers in the nation, Dora Puig. I mean, she's been named by the Wall Street Journal as the #1 real estate broker in Miami-Dade, #3 in Florida, and #5 in the USA, with over $4 billion worth of real estate sold and almost $1 billion sold last year alone. I can say that it's a privilege to be sitting here with you, Dora. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for such kind words. I'm honored.
No, of course. And we're sitting here in a beautiful penthouse in South Beach. And I wanted to ask you, is this trend of amazing sales going to keep going? Or where do you see the real estate heading?
It's never going to end. I'm just kidding. I think in South Florida, if I had to be a broker in any part of the country, I would pick to be a broker in Miami-Dade County. So I'm thrilled to be here because I think we're in one of the best markets in the country. And that's what I think is going to be the game changer and the buffer to any downward motion that the rest of the country is experiencing because of what the Federal Reserve is doing with interest rate hikes pretty much and with inflation.
Got it. So you think Miami-Dade is recession-proof?
No, I don't think anyone is immune from a deep, bad recession. I do think that we are buffered more than any other city in the country. One, because we are in a no state income tax state of Florida, which has been fantastic for us since 2018 when the tax reform occurred. And the other reason is because of weather and lifestyle. So we're traditionally a good market for Northeast and Chicagoans, Midwesterners, Canadians coming from winter markets. And the other part is for the international market, which we enjoy much more than most cities in the country. So I think between the three different sectors, I think we're more resilient than most other cities in the country.
I couldn't agree more. And about the lifestyle, now we're going to start heading towards the high season, which is one of my favorite. And as you said, more people are going to come in here, which is what's going to create that demand. Now, my question is, how do you prepare yourself for this time of the year?
Well, the first thing I did was take a vacation that I hadn't taken in 3 years.
That's good.
I think all the top brokers did that this summer because we were working 8 days a week for about 2 years since the pandemic. The pandemic, which we thought was going to be the end of the world, turned out to be a perfect storm for South Florida as a benefit to South Florida. What we do is in the summer, we build up all of our marketing capabilities. We clean up our digital programs. We start booking any print for the winter season, and we start getting, accumulating listings. And we've been sort of on a listing rampage in the last 2-3 weeks. We also try to close up all of the deals that we worked on last winter to get that out of the way. And then we try to build up our buyer database as well. Right now, we're really on a big listing program because if you have listings, you control the market.
That's totally right. Now tell me about that, because you were mentioning about the marketing and how you prepare for it. What's the, I will say, strategy to acquire those listings?
Well, one of the strategic moves that we made, and I've said this at the Real Deal panel for all the young agents to learn, the whole world is going towards digital, but certain print initiatives are still very relevant. We ramped up our direct mail program to at least one a week. And that was a direct product of the pandemic. Why? People were working from home, kids were virtual schooled. All of a sudden, I was not junk mail. I started getting phone calls from principals of properties. People who owned them were working from home. They were actually seeing them. We literally quadrupled our direct mail program, and we're still on it. We're not backing down from that. The print advertising, we scaled down, but we're still doing our winter programs. And we hardcore clean up all of our digital programs from Realtor.com to going through every listing we have on Zillow to Trulia. All of the auxiliary online websites that feature our listings automatically, we audited them all because there were so many mistakes. These algorithms sometimes pick up your listing wrong.
I see.
So a big lesson to agents is check them, especially if you don't have a lot of listings.
Right.
You don't want a comma in the wrong place. And it's 695,000 when it's really 6.95 million, which we found a lot.
No, you
believe
have
it
it?
or not.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So we clean up all of that. We build up our pipeline for e-flyers, for all of our social media. We start building content. On our social media, as you know, we not only post on our properties, but we try to balance it out with lifestyle, with anything having to do with Miami, with restaurants, because I am an ambassador for Miami.
True.
I believe that I have to sell the city first. And once I convince you that this is the best place in the world to live, then I get to sell you a home.
Well, we're lucky enough to be in one of the most amazing places in the country, which I will say that's why showcasing the lifestyle is a guaranteed success when it comes to selling properties. So
100%.
it's very good.
Also, I've been hearing more and more from clients from Europe and from Latin America, which they've been virtually non-existing in the super luxury market because the dollar's been so strong abroad. But even so, because of what's going on with the war in Europe, they're a little bit nervous. I believe the super luxury market is going to see a lot more Europeans coming in to Miami. And when I was in Spain for 6 weeks this summer, if I told anyone that I was from Miami, immediately all eyes are on you at a dinner table or at a gathering. Everybody wants to hear what's going on in Miami. It's probably one of the most exciting cities in the world right now, I believe, both internationally or in the US.
And you were talking about how to acquire listings, but what in terms of the buyers? Because that was just a great point right there. When you are outside of Miami and you're talking about Miami, people want to know about it. So you position yourself as an authority when it comes to Miami. But is there an approach that you've been using?
I've been in the business for over 30 years, so I'm a little bit of a meat and potatoes broker, and I get referred a lot. But I'm in a very fortunate position to have that, because for young agents out there who are in their 20s or 30s, they may not have that. So the major source of my business is referrals, because I'm a relationship broker. I have had to dive into the whole digital world, because if not, you can't keep up with all the young ones who are completely digital. We have a database of over 500,000 contacts from my whole career, and we are very consistent with our e-campaigns. Clean up all of our digital presence, and we are now launching our new website, which you'll be seeing it in the next 2-3 weeks, that we've been working on for a year.
Can't wait.
So that's going to be a big draw, I believe, with a lot of SEO behind it. And calling back all of our successful sales and staying in touch with our successful sales clients are a huge source of getting referred buyers to us for our programs.
Right. Well, I mean, we're in the people's business, so at the end of the day, it's about building those relationships. And it is true that if you come from a more traditional approach throughout all those years, yes, you have that advantage. But someone that is starting on needs to tap into the digital space. Otherwise, you cannot keep up with the big players.
But once they've retrieved leads from the digital space, one of my top producers in my company, Luxe, was a blogger. And he makes deep 7 figures in real estate, and he's completely digital. This kid I'm so proud of him, it's all digital. But what he does intelligently is once he converts to a sale, he then becomes a relationship broker with that client. And he maintains contact, personal contact, via text, WhatsApp, phone calls, with all of his successful sales. I think people forget to stay in touch with your successful client sales. That's your best source of referral. Because he's happy with what you did for him and his family.
It's about keep on watering that power base, it's on keeping it growing, because look at you, $1 billion almost in sales only in 2021.
I was shy 30 million.
Come on, what happened?
I actually was at $1 billion, a little bit over $1 billion plus, but I had 2 cancellations at the end of the year. So we lost 30 million in business. We were all bummed out that it wasn't exactly the billion, but it was $970 million in sales.
That's incredible.
I don't know if in my career I'll ever be able to do that again, because I average between $300 and $400 million a year. Again, the perfect storm post-pandemic. Interest rates got dropped. The Fed helped us. Stock market was soaring, and everyone was buying property in South Florida for tax purposes. We ended up closing the 30 million in January, February this year.
That's good. That's good. Listen, that's fine. I will ask you something. What is something that throughout your career you said, wow, this was the number one thing that really helped me progress in real estate?
I have to say, the first thing I would say for that is, and I tell this to young agents all the time, answer your phone. It's really simple. Pick up your phone. Your big clients, your super luxury clients, anything that's north of $3 million, even the ones under, they want accessibility to you. You can't DM your life through a successful career. You use it.
People think that it's possible, but it's
Instagram
not.
is not going to get you your whole career. It helps. WhatsApp, we use WhatsApp groups and text groups effectively with our clients. Text messaging, that all helps and cushions you. But you need to speak. Human beings need to speak. You get more done in a 5-minute conversation. You don't lose context of the negotiation, and your client loves it. So I think accessibility of your client to you and your team is the best advice I could give anyone, and we are excellent communicators on my team. My team knows on all of our client chats that if I'm busy, somebody's responding to that client, even if it's saying, Dora will be free in an hour.
I love it.
So I think that's been really effective throughout my whole career. I think I'm a really good communicator with my clients, and I'm proactive on keeping them informed. I don't wait till they call me a month later and say, hey, what's going on with my listing? That's the worst thing you can do to lose trust and confidence from the seller. And at the end of the day, they are giving you their most precious asset for you to manage and sell, which is their home.
I couldn't say it any better. You know, communication is key, and I do believe that whenever you are always communicating, you're letting them know ahead of what's happening, and they don't need to come back. That's reactively, you know, affecting your relationship.
They appreciate it because they feel like, first they understand you're working on their property and you're working.
Yeah, exactly.
That may affect commissions later because they won't cut your commissions because they know how much work you've put into it. And they appreciate being informed that their property is being marketed and what's going on in the economy, feedback from clients, so that they know what path they're in, and it also helps you to get price reductions if you can't sell it or if it's overpriced or if the market's changing. So I think communication is key. The other thing I would tell young agents is be informed. I mean, we live in a global world right now, macroeconomics, understand politics in other countries because we are an international city. Understand what's going on in New York. Understand what's going on in the 50 states with taxes because Florida is a non-state income tax state, and we're so fortunate to be in that kind of a state for the luxury residential market. And be informed on all the market comparables. You have to know your inventory. There's no free lunch.
Yeah. Knowledge is power.
Yes, you need to go to open houses. You need to run comps. You need to know what you're doing.
How about, you know, because you were talking about knowing your product. There's a lot of new developments here in Miami. Any in particular that you're like, wow, this is like amazing projects coming up in Miami?
Well, I'm going to be a little bit biased with my project. I just launched Friends and Family this summer for the Luxe Estates in Fisher Island. It's a collection of 12 single-family mansions. They're all different. The lots go from 13,000 square feet to over 23,000 square feet, which is a little bit more than half an acre. And these are going to average about 10,000 square feet. And they're all between $25 and $35 million.
Wow.
We've already, from the 12, have 4 that went under contract quietly off market. And we just put 1 in contract as well. So we have 7 very individualistic mansions that are going to come onto Fisher Island, which is great.
That's amazing.
Because they're all different. Everyone thinks that they're cookie cutter homes, and they're not. It's completely opposite to that. And so I think it's going to be a game changer for the island. And then I just went to visit a beautiful project that Hugo Colombo's doing in Coconut Grove, in Grove Isle, called Vita.
Vita, yeah.
Which is a boutique project, and I really liked it more than I thought I would. I'm a big fan of boutique buildings. I sell a lot at Apogee. I sell a lot here at 300 Collins. I think in the super luxury market, boutique buildings really are successful. Every building on Fisher Island's been boutique that I've sold, so I'm a big fan of that one. And Bentley Residences was another one that we went to check out yesterday, and we were really impressed with the quality. And there's a couple of new projects coming out on Brickell that I think are really raising the bar for Brickell Avenue. One is St. Regis Residences, which I've heard they're doing fantastic as it is. And there's a new project that just came out, 1428, that the finishes are really outstanding. There's a couple also in the background that are launching that I'm not privy to talk about yet. But I may
we'll find out soon.
With a big name. And I also like the Mr. C.
Right. No, I mean, at the end of the day, the branded buildings have like taken off here in Miami, and a lot of people that come from overseas, especially, they just automatically trust because they trust the brand, so they will look into it. But I agree with you about the boutique style. That's something very unique, and that's not so, I will say popular, but it will be marketed like the way you're doing it in a way that people want to get hands on the product.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you about luxury because the word luxury, it's so different for everybody.
Correct.
But what is it for you?
Luxury for me, the devil's in the details. And I tell this to my team
Look at that.
all of the time. I think when you go to a Four Seasons hotel in an international city, everyone looks at the Bulgari soaps in the bathroom, as menial and trivial as that sounds. I think the way the bed sheets are pressed in the bed and made, fresh flowers, candles, the smell of a property. We are sticklers. I call it the smell of luxury.
The smell,
And
yeah.
especially in residential, when you walk in, the way the house feels, the energy and the smell is really important. You can't smell food in a kitchen. I've had that happen with single family, and I'm showing, and I smell fried chicken. So I think the way the properties are merchandised and kept, and puffing pillows and fresh flowers, and the smell for residential, I think is really important when you show. I think developers are really good at that because they have models, and all the model units, they make sure that they're always perfectly set, they smell nicely, and are always well appointed with flowers and candles.
I love that. Now, what's your favorite thing about Miami that you like to do?
I love the water. We have a boat, so being in the water and in the bay, we tie up with friends on weekends. We go out with my kids on the boat. I think we're so lucky to live on tropical waters and live on islands where you can have your boat behind. I tell friends of mine from Europe all the time, we live on vacation with a job attached to it.
That's a
Instead
good
of
one.
working in a big city and taking a
A vacation, yeah, that's true.
So my favorite thing here is the water.
I would agree with you. There is actually a book that it's called Blue Mind, and it talks about the benefits of living, facing the water and being on the water. And it's so true, mental-wise, like you just feel so energized.
Yeah,
So
it's fantastic. It's sort of spiritual freedom.
it's unbelievable. Well, look, I would like to thank you once again for sharing all this amazing information. And all I can say is, like, are we going to see another year like the one that we saw in 2021?
I think the frenzy's over. I do think the crazy frenzy of selling 3 properties a week by picking up the phone and having multiple offers over asking, I think that frenzy's over because the Fed has taken care of that by raising interest rates so aggressively. I do believe we're going to have a great winter season, a traditional winter season. This summer was slower because everybody traveled. COVID was over and the travel bans were over and no more masks. So I tell my team that all the adults went on spring break. They went to Mykonos and Ibiza and South of France and the Hamptons, and everyone just left. So I think we're going to have a traditional good winter. We're still low on inventory in the luxury market. So I think we're in for a good winter. I don't know if it's the mayhem we had in 2021. I wish. But I don't believe it's going to be that crazy, but I still think we're going to be in a good position. I'm still bullish on Miami.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to seeing you keep on succeeding. And thank you again for your time. I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation. And if you have any questions about the super luxury, high-end real estate here in Miami, please reach out because she's amazing. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored.